Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Sonic the Hedgehog here, and I'm back, of course, in the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. And welcome back to my Let's Play of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles for the Second Mega Drive / Sega Genesis from the likes of Knuckles' story. So, yes, last time we actually did tackle through Mushroom Hill Zone and Flying Battery Zone and Sandopolis Zone, but the likes of Act 1 of Sandopolis Zone. And around the same time that I actually did cut off screen to actually get myself all 7 of these Super Animals once again. But even then, that allows me to actually instantly transform into Hyper Knuckles as much as I usually pleased. So yes, so today for this episode, we're about to continue on and move on to Sandopolis Act 2. And right off the bat though, if you actually just manage to begin this level as Knuckles, that right off the bat though is that these 3 ghosts are about to go strike on you. So even then though, that you got to be very careful, because every now and then, if you probably noticed the fact that we're still able to actually deal with the you know, the light switch in order to actually just to proceed to a level if you want to get yourselves comfortable with. But even then though, that in order to actually just to clarify to survive for this level, oh yeah, by the way, there's a next special stage ring in case if you actually missed out one or so Super Animals for that department right there, so even though I just want to clarify for that. So yeah, obviously, since that we're going to be still doing with these little light switches involved here and there in order to actually get rid of these ghosts, because obviously, if you manage to, I was off by 1 ring to get that extra 1 up. Hang on, let's grab that real quickly. There we go. So that way I can actually instantly exit out. So yeah, I instantly got myself on 101 rings, so even though almost like a reference to 101 Dalmatians. Like, usually always says that like a countless amount of times on that reference already, so anywho though, yeah, you're still able to actually obtain the light switch in order to actually get rid of these ghosts, and also to light out the or light up the actual level itself. So just in case you get yourselves a little bit more likely comfortable side of things with the level itself. So that's all that goes here. So anyway, so. And yeah, if you probably couldn't tell already, this is going to be the finale part of Knuckles' story, because obviously after this, then we're pretty much done with the entire game, because even though that I mentioned this before, that I was originally going to be showing you guys the Tails exclusive features for his story, but unfortunately though, we pretty much almost ran out of time to actually deal with all that. But even then though, that I was so wish that I would like to show you guys from that, but unfortunately that's not going to happen, because for all those Tails fans out there, that I'm really sorry that I wasn't able to I'm not tackling for this particular Let's Play out there. So I know a lot of people already done that already, most likely Comment J642, especially Slim Kirby as well. And I don't know if Commander My 456 usually does that, but even then that you should definitely recommend watching Commander My 456 in this case, yeah, Commander My 456 and Commander J64 channel of those Let's Plays, because they, or in this case, just Slim Kirby and Commander J642's Let's Play of Tails' playthrough, because they really good with those little descriptions about the, you know, the Tails' story. So, yeah, that's all that goes here. So yeah, with the ability when you actually transform into Hyper Knuckles in the specific sections like this little, you know, this quicksand sections that you have to purposely wait until you actually go all the way up to the upper route and all that stuff. That way you won't able to actually deal with that anymore until you actually realize that if you get yourselves Hyper Knuckles to begin with, that if you actually climb walls as fast, you should able to actually bypass some of these sequences much faster now. So even then, I'm really improved about that upon doing so. Yeah, Super Tails also does that as well, but even then, it doesn't even compare to Super or Hyper Knuckles, or in this case, Super Knuckles, whatever. So, yeah, that's all I can really think about that at this point in time. So, oh god, I got knocked back right there after that long instantaneous spin dash right there. So anyway, I wonder if I can concern about trying to get more rings and all that. So even then, I was really hoping to actually just clarify by doing so. So, anywho though. So there's not much else I can really talk about this at this point in time, folks, besides the fact that, well, obviously that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has been sold so well, even though almost like very similar to the uniquest selling points, so much so to how it does it in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild for Nintendo Switch. I think between, you know, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and also Mario Kart 8 Deluxe are both the most highly positive scores on the reviews department on the Nintendo Switch at the moment. But even though I really do appreciate about this, even though I believe next up it will be obviously what do I recall to be exact? Oh yeah, Splatoon 2, I almost said Squad for a second there. Splatoon 2 and also Super Mario Odyssey, so that means aka the most highly anticipated games coming on Nintendo Switch, so even though it's not that long until when Splatoon 2 is about to come, we even then know that, yeah. So now we ended up in Knuckles' round specific section, so I don't think there's anything too difficult about this section right there. Besides there's the ending part of this particular level that we're about to come across into later. Oh yeah, first things first, there's yet another special stage ring in case if you want to grab it. If you don't, again, if you don't grab all 7 of these Super Emeralds or the Chaos Emeralds and all that stuff, so I think most commonly it's going to be Super Emeralds in Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles, unlike Chaos Emeralds in the original Sonic and Knuckles game, so that's why I can really think of this out. So from this point right here, that this is a prime example that it makes it a little bit trickier for first-time players, but this is usually a puzzle-solving section. In order to actually do this properly, is that if you're thinking about if you're actually trying to push up the switch, or just push the switch in general, but even then though, as soon as you let go of the switch, then obviously it all counts down way too freaking fast. However though, the biggest strategy to now of all of this is that you need to actually push this little moving block right there until you actually just let the switch stops moving. So even then though, after when you go off screen on that part, then you're able to actually bypass it. So there's a little bit of a puzzle sequence right there, so even then though, that if you actually first time experience on that specific section, then you might actually get yourselves confused with that. So anyways, oh come on, you gotta be kidding me. But hey, at least I got to the checkpoint right there, so even then, I think it's about time for me to actually just kick out the likes of a Golem from Egg Robo version. So I think the only major difference between Sonic and Tails' counterpart from this particular boss battle than Knuckles' version is that I believe the Egg Golem's movement is actually a lot more faster, and also that you remember how Sonic can actually instantly manage it KO'd the Egg Golem from the simultaneous, you have to stand on into this little weak spot. Well, I don't think it's actually noticeable in Knuckles this time around, because obviously in order to actually attack him properly, it's by the fact that you need to actually attack its core, in this case this little green crystal core part right down to his forehead, and you should be able to attack him once you actually jump onto this little stepping stone. So even then, that's a little difference from here and there. So yeah, that's all I can really think about it. So I think we're pretty much done with Sandopolis Zone. Thank goodness for that, because although I don't mind the music of this, as I mentioned this earlier, but it's just Act 2, it's just a little bit too much for confusion's sake, So from Act 1 of Lava Reef Zone, you can either take it into 2 different ways. For one, you can either go on to the top section, which I believe in the top section, this will actually lead you to the Sonic's version of the level. So even then, in this case, the easiest route. However though, if you go down to the bottom part of the level, this means it actually takes you to the harder portion of the level, while simply just actually come across into pretty tough platforming here and there, and also these lava spouting here and there as well. And finally, there's going to be a lot of enemies involved. So even then, that's all I can really think about this at this point. So, oh yeah, right off the bat though, another extra life. So even then though, I don't think any people seem to actually come across into that section as Knuckles. But even then though, that luckily for me, I managed to come across towards it. Oh come on, I need more rings, man. I don't want to die from that specific area on that part. And to make matters worse though, is that if I don't get any checkpoints, that means I actually have to go all the way back to the very beginning of the level, so... But as long as there's going to be a checkpoint around here somewhere though, so hopefully we might as well get ourselves a little bit of a chance here. Oh yeah, from this little alcove right there, not to mention it gives you some plenty of rings over there. I have no idea what's going on with that glitch over there. I have no idea why. And there's actually another... No! No! Oh, god dang it. Stupid spiked ball. Rotational spiked ball. That means I lost my ability to actually transform to Hyper Knuckles and exponentially, so that's a little bit of a shame. So yeah, I think most commonly for most Let's Players out there, you usually come across into the hardest sections of Knuckles' Lava Reef Zone, Act 1 specifically, because even then though, because it's more likely just, Knuckles' playthrough of the game, so even then though, I seem to manage to accidentally manage to come across into Sonic's portion of the level instead. But even then though, that I like to know how those usually happen, so anyway. Since just go ahead and just get some more rings from the top to bottom. So even then, or most likely notably in the top section. So even then, we pretty much guaranteed that we pretty much almost done with Knuckles' story. And then afterwards, then we pretty much done with the entire Let's Play of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles, which is kind of a bit of a surprising note, naturally. So even then, yeah. And then at this point until it gets to next month, which should be at June, so even then though, that Piglet might actually go ahead and just tackle through Sonic the Hedgehog 4 until next month. So even then though, it's not that long until just to begin with, so even then, that should be pretty exciting. So, I did not meant to spin dash all the way to the other side, so even then I really do apologize for that. So yeah, you get their suggestions. It's the fact that we obviously pretty much almost done with every single 2D Sonic games retrospectively wise. If you guys have been probably thinking, what about Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic 3D Flinky's Island? Although technically we already done that particular Let's Play back in way long time ago, since 2015. We might actually decide to actually do that game again because obviously the sound mixing on that particular Let's Play is actually the terrible thing I've ever encountered on that Let's Play. So even then, we decided to actually go ahead and do a redo Let's Play on Sonic 3D Flinky's Island for a third time in a row. Although it's going to be the exact same quality as some of the original counterparts, but except the fact that we need to actually fix the sound mixing issues. So even then, just like how we had the exact same problem with the beginning part of our recent Let's Play back in 2015, which was Mario Party 2. Although some boards, mainly due to Horrorland and even especially Bowser Land, is actually pretty alright. But when it comes to the other boards, mainly due to Pirate Land, Western Land, Mystery Land, and even Space Land on those specific boards, the sound mixing on the other hand is going to be pretty terrible. Like the audio and the commentary is actually at maximum volume level, so that's why we're essentially going to be asking for a redo Let's Play of Sonic the Hedgehog. On this case, I keep on saying Sonic the Hedgehog, god dang it. Sonic 3D Flinky's Island, or Sonic 3D Blast, if you guys have lived in North America and everywhere else. So, I think we're actually going to be doing that until sometime in July, because obviously that after we finish up with these, let's just say 16-bit eras of these little Sonic games, that we're pretty much going to be tackling through the Game Gear Sonic Marathon until coming up until, how much months we got left? I think we actually got 3 months left, actually, so even then, though, that I'm really looking forward until I actually decide to actually tackle through every single Game Gear Sonic titles. But the only method I'm going to be using on is definitely the Sonic Mega Collection Plus for the Xbox/PlayStation 2, and even especially noticeable in Sonic Gems Collection on the Nintendo GameCube/PlayStation 2. So even then, that's because of the Game Gear games usually unlock from the start, as opposed to Sonic the Adventure DX, that you're gonna have to instantly unlock all these Game Gear Sonic titles while simply collect quite a few emblems on that specific version of Sonic Adventure DX on the GameCube and PC 2004 version. Well, just more likely predictions about it. So anyway, let's just let until these spike balls decides to actually start to move around. So yeah, it's nothing remarkably different about an Act 2 variation of Lava Reef Zone, besides the fact that we can now actually instantly just manage to go through these little crumbling rocks and all that kinds of stuff. So even then though, we can now instantly manage to go into Knuckles' route. So even then though, or Knuckles' route. So even then, there's going to be quite a few differences here and there. Like for instance, those flamethrowers are now going to be activating it all at the same time. While at the same time, there's going to be a lot of emphasis. Oh goodness gracious me! Don't ever do that to me again, game. We're actually just clipping me from the floor or even the wall and all that. So. At this point, this might be the final time we're going to be seeing the bonus stages, because obviously we're pretty much almost towards the end of the game, so even then, for Knuckles' playthrough anyway, so. Anywho, though, so there's not much else I can really talk about for this news-related stuff, honestly, besides the fact that, there's not much else to say, besides the fact that we instantly managed to go towards the end of Knuckles' playthrough of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles, so even then, I'm really excited until whenever I get this done, although I really enjoyed the game so far, like, probably the best thing about for this to me, so even then, that's all I can really think about, so, and at this point, after when we finish up this particular game, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles, that, I'm assuming someone else can actually tackle through, another redo Let's Play, which is going to be returning back onto the 3D, elements of the Sonic the Hedgehog history, which is in form of Sonic Heroes, which should be up until tomorrow, actually, until the 5th of May. So, yeah, it should be exciting. So, anyway. So, he's gonna activate the switch right here to proceed. Oh, god dang it. So, yeah, for Hyper Knuckles, though, anyway, there's one thing I had to mention. As you can see on screen, that we actually instantly killed the, this little smoke machine, type of bad thing. And basically, if you, manage to able to do a little bit of an earthquake technique, this will actually allow these enemies to actually get instant death right there. So, yeah, it's a pretty worth knowing for this little ability. So, not much else to really think about, but even then, yeah. So yeah, unlike in Sonic and Tails' version of this specific Lava Reef Zone Act 2, especially Hidden Palace Zone and Sky Sanctuary Zone, once we get into those zones later, you know, you probably notice that you don't actually get into the second boss fight on during the Lava Reef Zone Act 2, because even then it's just basically you have to do a lot of platforming. However, though, in Hidden Power Zone, I don't think we're actually going to be bumped into Sonic and Tails, because, again, I believe this is why I mentioned this earlier, is that this Knuckles' story campaign usually takes place after the events of Sonic and Tails' story. But even then, that despite the fact that, you know the ghosts that we already encountered in Sandopolis Zone Act 2, that usually they appeared right from the get-go, that usually takes place after the events of Sonic and Tails' portion of Sandopolis Zone. So, and right off the bat though, there's no death X to be signed on this specific little background right there, and same goes for the likes of how it does it nearly towards the end of Lava Reef Zone Act 2. So, anyway, there's no boss to be seen on Act 2 of Lava Reef Zone, as I mentioned this earlier, but instead where we actually instantly transport to Hidden Power Zone, which again is nothing much anything else besides the teleportation device, which actually leads you to the, well, obviously the final zone from Knuckles' story, which is in form of Sky Sanctuary Zone. But we only have to deal with this only one last challenge, and that was the form of Mecha Sonic. So, even then, no, that's all I can really say about this at this point in time, but even then, that's all I can say about this. Besides the fact that it's usually, this boss fight feels exactly similar to how it does in Sonic and Tails' counterpart, but the only major difference was, though, is the fact that you obviously have, you do have 3 rings to start off with, and there's no way you can actually instantly transform into Hyper Knuckles in this fight, so even then, though, this makes it a little bit trickier for Knuckles, because obviously that, this time speed wasn't exactly nearly as fast, so even then, that's all I can really think about. If you thought the fight was actually over, it turns out it isn't, because obviously we actually have one more phase to fight, and that was the form of Mecha Sonic's Super State. And basically, for this particular fight though, it's basically more likely a tougher variation of Mecha Sonic. Because obviously, he actually obtains the, because he absorbs the power of the Master Emerald. And obviously, since he actually managed to absorb the power from the Master Emerald, then obviously he transforms into his Super State. And basically what he does is that he's very invincible for the entire time. And basically that he does have a couple of amount of attacks to his disposal, like for instance he shoots out these little projectiles. And basically he shoots out 3 projectiles at a time. So even then, as long as you pay attention to his attacks, sometimes the attacks can be a little bit too random, especially the likes of how he actually just starts to actually use this dash attack. But even then, you should be able to dodge that as long as you actually just be very careful and just keep an eye on your toes and on that fight. And also don't judge by the fact that as soon as we actually get towards the end of this particular fight, that there's going to be a little bit of a trickier projectile to dodge. But even then though, that I highly suggest you're actually going to be going onto the far right or the far right corner of the you know, the battle arena. Because obviously, if you manage to go wandering around in the middle or the left side of the area, this basically means that Mecha Sonic's Super State will actually going to be activating these different attacks. So even then, wow, surprisingly, we managed to come across into the most common attacks, which is the form of firing projectiles technique, which is kind of more likely predicting. So he still actually gets himself 8 hits, just like its normal state, so even then there might be a grand total of 16 hits in total, excluding the original form of Mecha Sonic and also these Mecha Sonic Super States, so that's what I can really hear for. So every now and then, if you get to the final 3 hits or 2 hits and stuff like that, he now starts to spew out those fake rings. If you toss those fake rings, you get hit. So even then, though, it's got to be really right on with your timing jumps until you actually just manage to realize about this. So yeah, as you can tell, that you can't actually instantly manage to hit the super state of Mecha Sonic, because obviously he is invincible for the entire time. But in order to actually damage him, once he actually starts to be using that attack, is to actually just to let him worn out to actually just use the the Supreme State. And then even then though, as long as you pay attention to those attacks, yes, the last 2 hits, then boom, there you go. Mecha Sonic is entirely down. And I think that wraps every single part in Knuckles' story. So even then though, you'll still be going to be seeing the exactly same, almost like the identical ending to Sonic's story. But except the fact that Knuckles, or Hyper Knuckles, or Super Knuckles, whatever, then obviously he's going to be delivering the Master Emerald back into Angel Island. So every now and then, the Angel Island's once again fully restored. So even then though, that the Angel Island will actually float all the way up to the skies. So yeah. And that was when Sonic Adventure came around, when the Angel Island's more focused on that as well. So even then though, that yeah. That's all I can really think about this. So yeah, let's talk about the overall of the game first before since I've already talked about this on at the very end of Sonic's playthrough of the entire game. Easily one of the best 2D Sonic games I've ever played. Also, so much so for one of my favorite Sonic games of all time. Basically, I really love the level design and the superior story. I found the story is very, very entertaining and also is very surprising and really, really excellent as well. The controls is very absolutely fluid, especially noticeable that is usually improved upon the floating jumps and all that kinds of stuff. It usually happens whenever you played Sonic the Hedgehog 1 on 50Hz mode. That's the most commonly about it. And the elemental shields are the most useful ways in order to actually just to see for, you know, the advantages and all that stuff. It does make a bring back on those specific games, most likely Sonic Generations, and also for the likes of Sonic Mania. So at least I'm really surprised about this. So, and also that the way to play as Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles are very, very interesting and very unique at the same time. But even then though, that, and also the soundtrack is absolutely incredible, as I mentioned this earlier. And also that the graphics looks absolutely the best of the Mega Drive standpoint of Sonic the Hedgehog games has to offer. So much so it almost feels very colorful and detailed, so much so for Sonic 1 and 2. And also Sonic CD as well. While it does have a little bit of a color palette to it in the previous 2D Sonic games retrospectively wise, but it's really, really remarkably good on this specific Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles. Even especially if you play it on HD TV, it makes the color palette seems really rather bright. So, and quite vibrant in here and now too. So, yeah, there's nothing negative thing I can really say about Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles, honestly. Although the only time is a little bit too off for my part, it was Sandopolis Act 2. Although, honestly, I don't mind Act 1, but except for Act 2, because obviously it's just a little bit too much of a confusion maze. So, apart from that though, you should definitely go ahead and recommend Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles, even especially noticeable if you get the original cartridge of Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles standalone version. And obviously if you get yourselves downloaded the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Sonic and Knuckles downloaded separately on Xbox Live Arcade. Unfortunately though, those games just never seem to stall the release on the PlayStation Network, which I don't know why they seem to be coming. But even though I don't really mind about it too much. But yeah, definitely recommend it. So yeah, that's it. That's all I can really say about them. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles Let's Play. So even then though, you should definitely go ahead and recommend the entire title. So, and I think that wraps every single part of the entire Let's Play of that game. So, the next 2D Sonic game retrospective-wise that I believe Pickle is going to be tackling through next up is going to be involving Sonic the Hedgehog 4, which is specifically on Episode 1, Episode Metal, and of course Episode 2. So even then, that'll be up until next month. So, yeah, as you can see, Hyper Knuckles usually just has his fist up into outer skies, or in this case, outer space, almost. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. This is me, Sonic the Hedgehog, and I'll see you guys then. So take care. Bye.